Hi there and hello, my fellow entrepreneurs from around the world. I hope today finds you safe and well. Today I am talking about fear of failure, and I'm going to be talking about my own experiences with this and the actual mindset shifts, the changes in my perception that I had to make in order to break through this, because without it, I wouldn't have a business at all. Nobody would know I would have a business. I wouldn't have any income and I would be stuck in a 9-to-5 business. This is my own personal experience, okay? And I had to make these shifts in order to break through because I didn't want to put something out there that was going to fail, okay? And I really wanted, it's a little bit of perfectionism, but the fear of failure as well, definitely as part of that, okay? And this is just such a huge thing. And with what I do with my clients, this fear of failure can just prevent people from doing so much in their business. Once I broke through this thinking, okay, once I broke through, then I was able to actually attend networking events, stand up in front of strangers and tell people what I do, go live on Facebook, actually and tell my friends and family that I have a business and be proud about it and not shrink back when they are, so how's that business of yours going, right? And actually be able to say, actually, it's going well, it's growing, thank you, all of these things that I wouldn't have managed to achieve. I've gotten to travel overseas as part of my business and as part of my work and just meet people from all around. There's just so many amazing opportunities on the other side of this fear of failure block. And the other thing I want to point out is a lot of the time, you might not even know that you have a fear of failure block. A lot of the time, you could just be telling yourself, I don't have time, or, oh, it's too hard right now, okay? But when you dive into it and think about the why you're putting something off, the why you're not tackling something, you may uncover that this fear of failure is at play. So I wanted to just talk about these 3 essential mindset shifts that I had in order to just think about things differently, that helped me make changes in my business, that helped me go from zero to thousands of dollars in a year in terms of income, earning thousands of dollars a month, in fact, and a growing business, okay? So that's where I think I can help. So let me just, for anybody who doesn't already know me, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Tiffany and I'm from Tiffany G Studios. I am a client attraction specialist. So I help coaches, consultants and service providers to attract clients by launching their first online program or course, okay? And by launch, I don't mean a big, expensive, stressful launch that requires all the technology and will send you crazy. I'm talking about creating an online event experience, okay? And that can be for, as a certain sort of intense period, but intense in terms of, hey, we're going to focus on this for a week, that kind of stuff. And I take people through, over a period of 3 months, I take them through, what kind of event will work for you, what suits your personality. Okay, now I'm going to help you implement it. And here's what you need at each point and feedback and that kind of thing. And basically, I hold your hand as we leap into this new phase of your business, because once you run through this method, you then repeat it and it helps you to grow your business and can make a lot of money. So that's what I do. If that's something that you are interested in, then by all means, let me know. And this fear of failure is just a huge part of what I do with people and with my clients, that kind of thing. Because in order to stand up and say, oh, I'm going to create an online event that people attend, this fear of failure thing can come up and really block people and stop them from trying this out and having fun with this whole situation, which is what I'm about. It's having fun with these things. So let's dive in. The first mindset shift that I had to make was this one when it comes to fear of failure. If you think about it a lot, it's a lot of thinking about what do people think of me and judging yourself, and often through outside eyes, making up judgments that other people might be making on you, okay? Thinking about what your high school friend, oh, my high school friend saw me do my Facebook Live. Well, what's she going to be thinking? You know, oh, I'll bet you she's thinking that I'm really stupid for doing this online business thing, right? And she's not thinking about that at all. She's thinking about, you know, what kind of lipstick she's going to put on and then, you know, what she's going to watch on Netflix later that night, right? She's not really thinking about you at all, okay? And if she is thinking those kinds of things, well, she's not your kind of person, so who cares, right? You know, but you can't stop people from judging, right? So this is where I wanted to talk about, you see how all of these thoughts and thinking, it's all about you, right? It's like me, what people think of me, it's all about me. But actually, if we take a look at looking at the people who we help, right? Let's just stop thinking about us for a while and think about the people who we help, our potential clients or our potential, you know, course participants, okay? Those people, they have problems that need solving. So if we then start thinking about, okay, what do they need to hear from me today? Okay, what are they struggling with today, right? And if I used to imagine that person struggling so much without hearing from me, without that, you know, they needed the piece of knowledge that I had in order to move through their day, in order to improve their day, okay? So if you picture that person struggling, then all of a sudden that whole fear of failure has nothing to do with anything anymore. It's not about failure, it's about helping someone, okay? It's about offering them a piece of advice, you know, you wish you'd have had, something like that in the beginning. All these kinds of things, right? But it's focusing on them and how do you solve their problems, right? Okay, and just knowing that they need your unique expertise, they need your unique outlook on things. They need to hear from you because they might have heard it from other people, but suddenly they need to hear it from you. Actually, here's an interesting story about that, actually. I was talking to someone in my accountability group this week, and she was talking about how this week she had gone to 3 or 4 different people, you know, the coaches, consultants, getting their input on what she should be doing with her business. And she came to me and she said, I'm so confused, right? Everybody has these differing opinions and these different thoughts, that kind of thing. And yeah, I just sat down and I just said, look, you know, here's what you need to do. In fact, I didn't necessarily add another opinion exactly, but I said, look, you know, it's about choosing, you know, which person you want to work with, and it's walking her through this situation, walking her through this whole processing part. So with my unique input, she was then able to make decisions, okay? And we were able to help her to really work out, okay, here's who she is, here's what she does, here's how she helps people, and sort of make use of it. So even though she'd heard things from all these other people, suddenly, like, I'm last on the list, but I'm the one that she remembered. I'm the one that she turned around and said, oh, you know what? I need to write a testimonial for you because that was gold, okay? And do you see what I mean? Like, and had I not wanted to help her, and had I been thinking, oh, what if I fail? What if I offer the wrong advice? Or that kind of thing, those things, the fear of failure, then she wouldn't have had that eye-opening moment. She wouldn't have been able to move forward with her business. So that is just why I'm really passionate about this stuff, because think about the people you can help. Think about who you're not helping by holding back, by being worried about failing, okay? Now, I have 2 more mindset shifts that can help you with failure, okay? And looking at it differently, all right? So number 1 is failure is just data, okay? And this was something I had to come to myself as well. Failure is just data, right? And I know in our world, we go to school, we're taught that we have to get, you know, great marks and not make any mistakes and not have failures. But in business, we actually have to do the opposite and make failures in order to get to the success, okay? I'm going to talk about that a bit more, but the failure is just data, right? Now, let me talk about this really cool story that I love to share, and it is from the movie First Man, but it's the story of Neil Armstrong. Can't believe I had to think about his name. My father's name was Neil. How can I forget that? Neil Armstrong, you know, first man on the moon, Buzz Aldrin with him, that whole story. But it's the story of them getting prepared to go up to the moon. And there's this one line in it where they're doing the tests on the ground. They've done hundreds and hundreds of tests over years. and the guys are saying, pull back, Neil, it's gonna break up, it's not gonna work, and they're still on Earth at this point running their tests. And he said, no, we've got to make sure that we fail on the ground, because if we fail up there, then we're in trouble, right? So he was trying to get through all of the failures in order to make sure it was a success, okay? There are many other business owners who likewise have their failures, and then they get through to success. And this is where the failure is just data, okay? Suddenly we have information to work with, and we can turn this into something, right? Or we put an offer out there and nobody said yes. Okay, well, now we can work with that information. Now we can go back to people and say, hey, why didn't you say yes, right? And we can work through that and really see things differently, because then we become the scientist. We're not curled up in a ball in the corner going, oh no, nobody bought my stuff, this is terrible, I'm a bad business owner. And I've been through all of that, okay? I've thought all of those things. But then we turn around and go, okay, science hat on, okay? Now let's look at the data. How are things going? What do we know? What worked? What didn't work? Okay, all right, now we can try something different. And suddenly we have forward progress. We know what's not working, so then we can try something different until we get to something that works, okay? The idea that you can create a business from nothing, you're creating something from nothing and put it out there and people are going to immediately go, oh, that's perfect, I'm definitely going to buy. That does not happen in reality, okay? The only times that sort of thing happens is where somebody has a strong network. They have a network partner who's, helping promote, that kind of thing. That's where you reduce that risk. But even then, it's still very unlikely that you're going to put something out there and all 100% people are going to buy. Like that's not how it works, okay? So failure is just data, right? Looking at these things differently. The third mindset shift is that failure is essential in business. So what I was talking about before, the Neil Armstrong story, I also want to talk about, say, like Richard Branson, the head of Virgin in the UK. He's the CEO. I know there's a board, there's lots of other people, right? But if you read his biography, like he goes through a lot of the failures that they had, things they tried that didn't work, different business, like arms of his business that he tried out, that sort of thing. That's where you see somebody who makes it up to that level is someone who can handle failure, okay? Someone who doesn't take it personally, someone who can put things out there and go, okay, cool, that didn't work, all right, let's try the next thing, and be okay with that resiliency. And that's why the fear of failure is holding you back, why you need to find these ways to look at failure differently. Another story that I love to tell is from the woman who created SPANX in the USA, okay? I always forget her name because I never plan this story in advance. It just always comes to me while I'm talking about this on calls and when I go live, that kind of thing. But she was talking about how when she grew up, they used to sit around the dinner table and her father would ask them, what did you learn today? And, what did you fail at today? Because if you weren't failing, you weren't learning. And if you weren't learning, you weren't growing, and that kind of thing, rather than, what did you get right today? Because you actually learn less when you get stuff right. You learn more when you get stuff wrong. The lesson is that much more embedded in you for some reason, right? Well, I can explain the reasons, but I won't go into it because this has become a longer video than I had meant it to be, okay? So let me just recap the things that I've been saying to you today, right? Is the whole fear of failure, it's very much focused on me. Let's just get out of the head of the me, what people are thinking about me and I might fail and judging myself, all that kind of stuff, and think about the people that we are helping and imagine them struggling without what you have to say, okay? That story I told you about the woman in my accountability group where she had all of this advice from different people, okay? And I could have said, oh, well, you heard from all these different people, I better not weigh in, but I weighed in and then I was the one who was like, oh, it helped her with the breakthrough, okay? So I helped her out of her struggle, right? So think about that, right? And then think about these other points. Number one, that failure is just data, okay? And number two, failure is essential to success in business. I know all of the stories of people's successes, they always skirt over the failures and they skip over them. But actually, it's just, this is how we move forward in business. It is the opposite to everything we are taught in school to be good little employees, and that is to, you know, get good marks and follow the rules and be perfect. As entrepreneurs, we have to work outside of the rest of society. We have to be weird and go, hey, here's our new thing, it's over here, come follow me, until people follow along with us. And part of that is putting stuff out there that people don't jive with straight away and failing at things, right? But it's good, right? And yeah, failure is data, okay? Put on the hat, that kind of thing. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this. I would love to hear from you in the comments below, or get in touch with me personally. Are you struggling with fear of failure, or any of these thoughts, or has any of what I've been talking about, that fear is just data, has that opened your mind or eyes to something? Love to hear from you. And if you want to know about launching an online program and tackling these fears for that, then get in touch. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Tiffany from Tiffany G Studios, and that's it from me. Bye for now.